I've been gone for a week, haven't said anything or posted anything because I had a very unforeseen, unexpected family emergency arise, and I needed to drive south and be here to support my loved one in this time of this grieving period, and some loss has taken place. But I'm here today posting this video because it's been hard to go through what we've been going through. It has been. And it's also been hard to not have the time or the capacity to show up and make videos and be here with my family, because really that is what I realize more and more as I get older, that you guys really are to me, you know? And I think it's weird sometimes because I can't see you, you know? I can't see you on the other end of this. But in my heart, I feel and I know that you're there. And so to me, like this, it's a big deal having this community, this family to share with and to grow through this journey of life with. And so I wanted to show up today and post a shorter message than usual. I got a lot of stuff going on right now, so I really don't have the time to edit this video or, make it as exciting of an experience as I like to do with the videos. But I do have an important message that has come to me through this grieving process I've been going through this past week. And I'd like to share with you some insight I've had that I hope benefits you in your life. One of the things that is most shocking when someone you love dies is that when it comes out of nowhere, as in it's not from old age, it was just a freak accident, you never expect that. Like we don't think about that. We don't think about the fact that that was the last time I saw them. Like we don't realize when we, say goodbye to somebody at a family get-together, like that could potentially be the last time. Now, I know a lot of people who are young and healthy who have had freak accidents happen, and I actually have faced a lot of my best friends through my life dying in some random ways. Some of them took their own lives, and the truth is this world is really hard to be in sometimes. It can be kind of scary living in this world, in this place, because everything is moving so fast all the time, and we're all working so hard just to make ends meet. And I know I'm not the only one who has had the experience in life. I've been a lot better about this over the last few years, but a few years ago, I used to live my life where I was just on the grind, working all the time and trying to accomplish things. And by the time I'd get home from work, I was so tired. All I could manage to do was eat and watch TV. And the reason I'm mentioning that is because I know I'm not the only one who can relate to that. I think we've all felt that before, where we feel like we're wrung out. Have you ever felt that way? Like, I honestly, I feel this way sometimes still, less than I used to, but I do sometimes. I feel like I've been wrung out. Like sometimes it's like my brain has been squeezed, and it's like life is just wringing out all of the juice and the life in me. And now I'm getting older, and weird things are starting to happen. Like I'm getting this like weird wrinkle line right here, and you can't always see it based on the lighting I have, but like it doesn't go away. And I don't know why it's there. But I don't look as young as I used to, and I'm starting to age and get like wrinkles and stuff. That might seem like, why are you saying that? Well, because I think sometimes we all feel wrung out and tired. And I think a lot of us are fighting really hard to accomplish certain things in our life. But there's something about death, unexpected death of a friend, a family member, a pet, a spouse, a child. I've heard from people that that's like the most traumatic thing is the death of a child when you're a parent and you lose a young child. I've heard that is horrific. Can't relate to that myself. But there's something about death that is like a huge slap in the face to us. And it hurts and it stinks. And we wish that we had appreciated them more and we said more of how we felt and that we spent less time so focused on our work. Like, think about how many times you come home from work and you don't genuinely appreciate the people in your life. Maybe you have roommates. Maybe you live with your family. Maybe you got wife, husband, kids. I mean, how often are we genuinely loving and appreciating one another? I'm really calling this out to you. Like, how often are we really sharing in this journey called life intimately, authentically? Versus sometimes we're just so wrung out and we're tired and we're agitated. And one of the struggles for me is, I have some social differences. I think, we all do. But I've had some social differences for my entire life and had some special classes to try to help me to make connections with people and to have relationships work out better for me. But it's one of the struggles for me is connecting with people. And I got friends, for example, who love me very much and reach out to me all the time. I've got people who I think about every single day, and I love them so much. And I have tons of missed messages and calls from them. And for some reason, I can't find it in myself to message them back. And I don't know what's wrong with me about that, The doctors say it's called autism. But it's hard because I have a lot of love in me for people. Like, I really have such an extensive love. And sometimes I don't feel it's very easy or natural to me to communicate that to people who I love. Sorry, I've kind of gone off on a tangent there and maybe did some TMI, but I just want you to consider how important it is to love the people in your life, because this is a hard and challenging world, and everything moves so fast. It moves so fast. And so many of us are so caught up. I'm not saying this is you or even me, because it's not me anymore. It used to be. But some of us get so caught up in just grind, trying to achieve our career goals, make that money, get a better body at the gym. Like, we have these things. I'm not saying any of it is bad, but I am saying that at the end of the day, what is it that really matters? What really matters? Because we could spend our entire life building up all this money for ourselves. But what does it really mean at the end of the day? You can work really hard and climb that career ladder, but what does it really mean? So I'm here to challenge you and ask you a question, and it's not an attack, it's a probing, if this makes sense. I'm probing you on purpose. That sounds weird. I'm probing you. What do you value? What matters to you? What is the purpose of life? What is it that really matters at the end of your life when you are on your deathbed, which we don't know when that's going to happen. This is the thing, that death is like a slap in the face. It hurts, but it's important because it wakes us up out of the delusion of the stuff that so many people in the world are so obsessively focused on, trying to make themselves look as pretty as possible, trying to make sure everybody likes them, try to be famous, try to get the money, make sure to get that house on the hill. And to what end? I'm asking you, what do you value most? What really matters? What really matters? It's so important that we consider this, because I realized something over this last week. Every single one of us is placing a vote every day of our lives, every moment. Even right now, I'm literally voting for what I value with my time, with my energy. We are voting for what matters and what we think is important. Every single day, every moment, you're voting with what you're thinking about, what you're paying your heart's energy towards, what you're allowing your spirit to grow in, what you focus on, the actions you take. And I think if a lot of us really looked in the mirror at our lives, we would be a little bit disgusted to find and to see who we've been, how we've been spending our time, and what we've been voting for every day as what is most important. But the only reason we do that is because we forget the temporal nature of this reality, that eventually everything is going to fade away. I'm going to die. You're going to die. We don't know when. I could literally die in a car accident tomorrow when I'm driving to the grocery store. The money that we earn, you can't take it with you to the grave. However much power and fame you get, it doesn't matter. You can build some epic castle on a mountain, but all human structures that are built, they wither away over time. And even if they're built out of the strongest materials, someday the earth will be destroyed. And if you don't know about that, well, I have a great reverence for science. I really appreciate science. And I find that it actually really interacts quite well with spirituality if we're willing to really look at them together. The world is going to end someday. It's just a matter of time. And I'm not making this video to scare anybody, but I hope that it causes your spirit to kind of consider, like, what am I doing with my life? How am I voting this way every single day for what I think matters? And in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't actually really matter. I just think it would be really sad to find myself at the end of my life realizing that what I voted for that mattered every single day was trying to grow my career and get more money. That's just my opinion. But if that's what you value, then it's none of my business to say that's wrong. I'm just asking you and everybody out here who's hearing this conversation to consider consciously, what do you value? What is it that really matters to you? Who are you? Who did you come here to be? Have you ever felt this yearning in your spirit to express something, to give something, to share something, to emanate some love, to help somebody in need, and you didn't? And you didn't. Something in you was nervous. You're like, no, that's weird. That's outside of the norm. Most people aren't. That happens to me all the time. I feel called by spirit to do something, to help somebody that I'm passing by on the street, or to say something in some other instance. And lately I've been doing a really good job of trusting spirit and doing that. And it's been phenomenal and just beautiful how spirit uses us when we listen. But sometimes we don't listen and we ignore, because we're so busy and focused and caught up in what we're doing, what we think is like our whole story of our lives, of what matters to us. I probably look like really sweaty and gross right now. It's very hot in this car. It's very hot in here right now, okay? It's middle of the day. But I went to the mall a few days ago, and I ended up, just because I was going on a walk, and I ended up in this section of the mall that's like for rich people. It's like the only way to put it. It was like Prada, Louis Vuitton, Versace, you know, that kind of stuff. And what I'm about to say, I really do not mean it judgmentally, and I don't mean it as an attack. It's just something that I was considering and I felt like sharing with you. There's these bags in these stores, thousands of dollars. And I thought to myself, I've got a bag that I've had for 5 years that I got at like a Big Five Sporting Goods or something like that for $20. And I've had it for 5 years. And I hike a lot. I use this bag all the time, every day. Still got it, $20 bag or something like that. 5 years. And I thought to myself, multi-thousand-dollar bags that say what about you? That I'm rich, that I'm elite, that I matter, that I'm important. Look what I can afford. And I thought to myself, if I had that kind of money, I pray about this actually regularly. Someday, if God gives a lot of money to me in my life, I pray that I remember that that is not my money. That is God's money that God is giving to me. And I pray that I am responsible with it. Because what do I really need aside from a basic shelter and the ability to feed myself? Like, that's the illusion this world promotes to us. You need this and you need that and you need to buy this and you need this super fancy outfit and this super fancy bag. And I'm thinking to myself, all the hungry, impoverished people in the world, people who are in pain and suffering, and somebody who has so much money that they think it makes sense to afford a bag like that, it just made me think, like, that's sick. And I'm not judging people who buy stuff like that. If you've bought something like that before, I'm not judging you. I really am not. I'm not saying that if you've done that, you're sick. I'm saying there's a sickness in our world. It's like we're blind. We have allowed nonsense to become important to us and forgotten what really matters. How are we not reaching out and helping one another when we have the ability to? How are we coming home at the end of the day and treating our spouse as we're agitated and we're angry and we don't appreciate them? You know, how are we just walking by our pets as they jump excitedly on our leg when we get home because their whole love in their heart revolves around you and they just want your attention? You just keep walking. Get down. Get off of me. Get off of me. I got to go get my meal and sit down and watch my Netflix. I've had a rough day. Get off of me. Get out of my way. You know, I'm just saying there's a sickness in this world. And I don't want to be sick. I don't think anybody does. I think we're just a little lost and confused. So please, from somebody who has had a shocking experience happen that I've been grieving this week, this loss, maybe I'll mention to you more specifics about it later if it becomes relevant in a future video or conversation, but we need to ask ourselves what really matters. What really matters, how we show up each day, and what are we voting for? What do we vote for with the way we spend money? What do we vote for with the way we spend our time and attention? What do we vote for with our words, how we speak to one another? Please, I'm begging you to realize what's important now. Because if you realize it on your deathbed, all it is a regret, not a very fulfilling realization. But if you realize now and you use the temporary time that you have while you're here, God has given you this body, this beautiful gift. And so many people aren't even taking care of this body. They're just putting toxic, fake, nasty chemical food into it. And all sorts of things. I'm sorry, I could go on so many tangents right now because I've been realizing so many things. But at the end of the day, guys, I'm here because I wanted to remind you that we're all going to die and freak accidents happen and things happen that we don't expect, and that's just life. And it hurts and it's painful, and I've been grieving and I've been going through it, and I've been doing the best I can to be here with the people who need me to be strong right now in this time and hold the space. And I've been praying for the strength to do that, and I think I've been doing a pretty good job. But I'm just trying to say that the things that I see most people focusing on and thinking matter and they worry about all night, and it makes it hard for them to sleep because they're so anxious about stuff, these things don't really matter in the grand scheme of things. And you've got so much love in you, and it is just waiting to be expressed and shared and expressed in the special way that, you know, God has created you for. But so many of us, we're not doing that because we're too busy worrying about, I don't have my Louis Vuitton bag yet. Or, you know, I've got this wrinkle, I better go get Botox, okay? And I'm not making fun of anybody. I spent weeks as I started to notice this wrinkle coming in. That's all I could see when I walked by the mirror. And I felt ugly. And I was like, what happened to me? I used to be so attractive, and now, like, what is going on with me? You know? Sorry, my camera ran out of battery. I had to turn on my car and charge it a bit. So, but anyways, the reason I'm mentioning that is because it's like, it's just silly how I was letting something like this wrinkle, or how so many of us do. We let things like that bother us, and we would rather spend time being bothered about that and worried about these silly things that really do not matter than spending that time where we're worrying about that, sharing the love of who we really are with each other in the special way that God has called us to. And it's not easy in this world, because this world is flashing those Louis Vuitton bags at us. This world is, you know, flashing, oh, go get this facial surgery and get this Botox, because if you don't look like you're 15 years old when you're 70, oh, you've got problems, you know? It's like, this is a tough world. And just to be honest, I'm not pointing fingers or blaming or anything. I think it's important that we take responsibility for how we live and what we focus on. But, you know, this world has so many advertisements and propaganda, just garbage being shoved into us all the time about us not being good enough, and make sure to keep running on that hamster wheel, and subliminal message telling you you don't matter unless you own this product or unless you this or that. And it's just sick. I'm sorry, but it's disgusting. And the love in you, it wants to be shared, but we have to make a conscious decision to live in such a way where what we do really matters. The way we spend our time in our life, and how we love one another, and how we show up each day. So I encourage you, ask yourself this question, because life is fleeting, and you are not going to be alive as long as you may think. We don't know when the end is. We don't. And a lot of us live unconsciously every day, just watching shows, taking drugs, passing the time. But I think if you knew, for example, if I was your doctor and I called you and I said, indisputable, you die in 1 month from today, some rare illness, no cure, nothing, you got 1 month to live, I bet you would have a major shift in consciousness immediately. So guess what? I'm your doctor, and I'm calling you right now, and I'm telling you something. You're sick and you are dying, okay? Every single one of us is. Our bodies are withering away. It's only a matter of time. I'm not trying to freak everybody out. I'm just saying it's the truth. We're all dying in different ways at different times, but we are. And I think it's time we consciously accept and realize that in the forefront, not in the background where we pretend like that's never going to happen, because that's how most people live. We don't think about it. But I'm asking you to think about it. And I'm asking you to question what really matters. The last thing I want to say is I was very, very, very excited to host a live stream event on this past Sunday But again, a family emergency has come up, and I'm sorry that I wasn't there for that and that I've been gone, but I'm going to reschedule that stuff and, start posting videos again when I have the time to. So thank you guys. Much, much, much love and peace and blessings to you in your life. And please do not hold back the love in you. Share it. I challenge you to go find someone right now in your life and love them fully. Don't hold it back. Right now. And if you live in this way, watch how beautiful things can begin to become for you. Thank you. And I hope to see you in the next video. See you there.